Let's talk about what happened on Capitol Hill when Dr. Anthony Fauci was finally forced to face Congress, and what his silence tells us about what he's hiding. On July 29th, the Senate called him to testify about the origins of COVID-19, federal funding, and his role in shaping pandemic policy. Fauci showed up, then he invoked the Fifth Amendment, repeatedly on nearly every question. This is important. President Biden pardoned him in January 2025, completely and unconditionally, covering any offenses from 2014 to 2025. And here's where the law gets interesting. Supreme Court precedent says a pardoned person can't claim the Fifth Amendment. You can't be self-incriminated if the president already said you're forgiven. Chairman Rand Paul cited that precedent and formally directed Fauci to answer the questions. Fauci refused anyway, on the advice of counsel. Let me ask you something. If you were innocent and your president pardoned you and a committee chairman told you to answer, would you sit there in silence or would you defend yourself? The committee examined Fauci's private diaries. In those diaries, he claimed he convinced Mayor de Blasio to close New York City schools. Publicly, he said he never ordered lockdowns. Those aren't the same story. The 6-foot social distancing rule? Fauci admitted in 2024 it wasn't based on clinical data. It just appeared. That's not science, that's theater. On masks, in a 2020 60 Minutes interview, Fauci discouraged Americans from masking. Then he mandated them. He later suggested his initial advice was about supply logistics, not medical science. In other words, tell the public don't mask so we save supplies for healthcare workers. Then mandate masks anyway. That's not public health. That's messaging control. Now let's talk about the money. During the pandemic, Fauci received at least 8 cash prizes totaling over $1 million, including a $900,000 Dan David Award. The committee presented evidence that he used federal employees on government time to solicit those awards, and he pressured ethics officials to let him keep the money. Then there's the virus origins question. The committee alleged NIAID-funded gain-of-function research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, a lab with substandard safety standards. A 2018 proposal to insert a furin cleavage site into a coronavirus was rejected by DARPA as too dangerous. That same feature later showed up in SARS-CoV-2. The committee suggested the research proceeded anyway, with NIH support. The famous proximal origin paper, the one cited to discredit the lab leak theory, was supposed to be independent scientific analysis. Internal emails showed the authors had serious doubts about a natural origin. And Fauci allegedly offered editorial comments on that paper before publication, then cited it from the White House podium as independent evidence without disclosing his involvement. That's not science, that's marketing. On treatments, Senator Johnson presented VORS data showing 1.7 million reported adverse events and 39,000 deaths connected to COVID vaccines. The committee alleged that Fauci suppressed inexpensive generic treatments like ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. Why? Because emergency use authorization for experimental vaccines requires no effective alternative treatment to exist. In other words, eliminate the competition, approve the vaccines under emergency authority. That's not medicine, that's monopoly. Remdesivir was promoted heavily. The committee found zero impact on mortality and discovered that treatment guideline panel members had financial ties to its manufacturer, Gilead. Follow the money, that's the through line here. Now, Fauci invoked the Fifth Amendment in front of a Senate committee even after receiving a presidential pardon. That's not the action of an innocent man. That's the silence of someone who knows exactly what the answers would prove. The Democratic minority called it a show trial, but show trials happen when there's nothing to hide. When there is something to hide, the defendant sits silent, just like he did. 50 years of federal service, 7 presidents, and when finally asked to account for his decisions, when legally immune from prosecution, he refuses to speak. That silence speaks louder than any defense ever could.